taking it out. I'm not going to remove the subframe. I'm just going to clear it off. I'm going to tear everything down, and then we'll rebuild it. I've got some.
Sucker, you still don't know? Man, go ask your daddy.
Got up this morning, was laying in bed. I was just thinking, man, I've dug out all this dirt and everything from the cross member, and frame's actually cleaned up really nice. And I'm just like, to be honest, man, I've been intimidated about taking out this front subframe. I mean, I've got the lift, I've got jack stands, I got everything I need to do it, and I've just been intimidated. And I was poking around on the interwebs, and man, there's a lot of guys that just pop these things out, and I'm just gonna do it because I know I'll regret it if I don't. See this frame? I mean, it's pretty clean. I'm stripping off the paint that I put on it. I'm about 85% of the way there. Here's the mess. This is the dirt that I dug out. Couldn't sleep last night, so I came out here and just took this thing and just dug the dirt out through here. And there's still dirt up on the lips of this, these spring pockets. And like I said, I'm just sitting here contemplating, man. I've kind of half-assed things, and I don't mean that in a way of like just baling wire and duct tape, but it's like I've done things a 7 out of 10 on a scale of 10, and I always regret it. So I'm gonna take the extra time, I'm gonna pop this out. I'm gonna take the measurements. So looking online, this guy right here, that is actually from the factory. I'm guessing there was some sort of jig as this car went down the assembly line. And that hole and this hole right here are alignment holes. And then up here in the body mount perch, I guess you can call it, there's a hole here, and it lines up with this hole up here, and you can see that's an oblong hole to give it a little bit of room for movement. Everything I'm poking around and seeing, again, on the interwebs, and I don't just consult one or two people, I really do look for some consensus. You get, 5/8 dowel rod and go up through here. Some guys just use that all threaded rod, a 5/8, just put it through there. And they say that'll get you 95% of the way there. I think I'm gonna just take measurements where it's sitting now. I'm gonna measure from here to here. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, here to here. And then I'm gonna measure side to side. I'll probably take a measurement from here to here. This support here, I think it's the rear seat track support. Yeah, it is. And I'm just gonna make sure I've got all my measurements, and I'm gonna line it up, and this is not that big a deal. I said to myself, I'm like, it's not that big a deal. All right, guys, there it is. That's kind of what I came up with. I think the two most important are A and B, and then also these front ones where the dowel, the 5/8 dowel rod goes in there. The other ones are just for me to have numbers to fucking freak out over. But in any event, I think we're good, and that's gonna get us back to where we need to be so I can get these fenders and everything else lined up. Or if not, my car is going to be a rolling piece of shit, which I'm going to kind of reset and get everything set up. To pull this subframe, I'm going to run it by the car wash, just bust it, you know, just bust it down, get it cleaned up, and do it the right way. All right, guys, got the body bolts out, and I'm getting ready to just take the lift and lift it off. Let's see what happens here. I think that's it. I think that's about as tall as it goes. There we go. But here we go. Yeah, I was able to get under there pretty good, but I'm gonna roll it out. It goes thicker when it rolls. Missed a spot right there. But I'll get that all cleaned up. And of course I can get directly under the frame, the body mounts, all that, and then I can clean this guy up, get this all scanning tall. I mean, these don't look too bad for, you know, their age and everything else, but. I'm saying the body bushings look good after 43 years. I'm definitely replacing them. You'll see me do that in part 2. All right, guys. I was too cold to remember to film this, but I just cleaned it all out. The biggest thing, I mean, I got most of the subframe clean in my garage, and it was easier to rinse it here. But I mean, I've been picking this thing up and tilting it around by myself. It's not that heavy. And the big thing is cleaning out inside. That's what, I mean, these frame horns here, they were just caked with shit, and it was mostly dirt. And then the cross member there, full. I'm freezing. Later. All right, so what am I getting ready to do here? I just got back from the car wash and hosed her on down. I forgot to take my brushes with me and my degreaser. So I did have to come back and do a little bit of, just a little bit, where the top of the subframe was under the body. I didn't get to it, and there was some thick grease on there. No big deal. But there are some ugly factory welds on here. As a matter of fact, I'll just bring you on over and show you. There's no structural issue with this. If you can kind of see, it just looks like shit. And with the A-arms that I'm putting on there, you're gonna see it. So I'm gonna take my flap wheel, I'm gonna grind it down, and then I'm gonna take the old Miller-Matic 211 and give it hell. Just kind of lay down a couple welds just to kind of clean it up. Nothing crazy, but I'll leave you guys here. In this section here, what I'm trying to accomplish is just to go through, cut down on weld spatter, fill in some areas where, you know, obviously the welds hold. But if you look at a production frame, you will see they're ugly. You know, they just are. I have seen where guys will go through, they'll body work these frames. They'll either take like a 2-part epoxy, or they'll take some Evercoat or Bondo or whatever you want to call it. They'll fill in the gaps, they'll body work those gaps, sand them down, come back, do it again. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not the extent that I'm going to. And you'll see in the video, I point out a few times where, you know, hey, I've done this, I've drawn the line here. You could probably spend a week getting this perfect, or, you know, a couple days, however far you want to go. I am comfortable with where I went on this. I think it's true to the build. You will see in another video that I'm working on right now, I did the same thing with the firewall. I could have gone, you know, as far as you want. You can rebuild things. I'm keeping this all within the confines of this build where it, you know, I'm cleaning up. I'm kind of keeping everything factory. I'm keeping but just little touches here and there. So enjoy. And this is sped up for you. And if you want to see me doing this every step of the way, just slow it down about 8 or 9 times. Enjoy. Kind of what I'm doing here. This is kind of what we're starting with, right? Just looks like shit. So I'm coming in here and I'm just kind of filling it in, and then I'll come back with the flap wheel and clean it up. There was a big hole here, so I filled that in. And, you know, obviously, again, I'm not trying to turn this into something that it's not. But for the time that it takes to throw a few welds on there, grind them down, trust me, I've ground a lot of welds in my time. They hold, but anyways. All right, guys, I'm going to cut you off now, and I'm going to get back to this, and I'll bring you back when I'm finished. All right, guys, so this is as far as I'm going to take it. First of all, I couldn't get the welder or the grinder in there. I kind of tried, and I don't know, whatever, we'll leave that. But I got this kind of cleaned up. I could throw another bead in there and then grind it, but I mean, it's just insane, you know. And then back here again, I could probably fill this in and then throw another bead, make it flat. And I got the edge here. A lot of this is gonna be covered by the A-arm, but if you kind of come over here and look at this side, you can kind of see now why I did what I did. So just, again, just cleaning it up. Didn't fill the drain holes or anything like that. And, you know, it's purely aesthetic. I mean, it might add some strength, but not really. I'm not gonna be autocrossing or anything. But I'm gonna get this side done, guys, and then I'm gonna start prepping for paint. All right, guys, I got it welded up, ground down. I just hit it with another thing of degreaser, another coat of degreaser, and then I'm gonna get ready to spray the metal prep, which is an etch. So I'm gonna etch it right now, and then from there, then the next step is to let it dry thoroughly and then paint it. I bought these in gallons. You can get them in quarts, but I still got about 1/3 of a gallon here. This mixes 4-to-1, and then this doesn't mix. It's like a purple solution, and it's an etch. You got to keep it wet for about a half hour. I'm just gonna spray it down. And come on, man. There we go. A little bit more of a spray. Oh man, you don't want to get this on your skin. That feels good. Yeah. Feels real good. Smells good too. Definitely wearing gloves when I paint. I should have gloves on right now. Son of a bitch. Feels real good. Real freaking good, man. That's awesome. They know I love it so much. Damn. Shit feels good. All right. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna come out and periodically check it. I'm gonna go wash my arms because that shit burns. So I have to keep this. You've got to keep this soaked for 30 minutes. So as it sits on here, it does dry. You got to go over it. I was in the house for about 10 minutes thinking that that would be okay. But it was a little too long. It wasn't. It was about 30% dry. But it kind of occurred to me why this is burning my arms, because it's acid. Because that's how it etches, because it's acid. Not that smart. All right, I'm going to keep up on it for about another 10 minutes, and then I'll cut you guys back on. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to start with the Pt.1. Now, this is not the rust inhibitor locking rust paint. This is a direct-to-metal top coat. It's chassis black. Obviously, I'm not dealing with the issue of painting over any paint, but it says you can paint over paint. You just rough it up with 320. It seems to be a little more forgiving than that rust preventative, but it is not susceptible to the UV rays like the Pt.1, like what their original formula. But this can be top coated over it, or it can be used direct to metal. I'm using it direct to metal on this chassis. I was sitting here. First of all, they say do not paint out of the can because it will dry. It's water cured, it's moisture cured. I don't really know how that works, but everybody says it like they know what it means. I don't know what that means. I would imagine that it draws moisture out of the air, something similar to when concrete hardens underwater. I don't know. It works. But I'm not going to use this chip brush. I've just put it back and forth in my hand 3 times and bristles come out. And I don't want bristles stuck in this. So I'm going to run and grab a better paintbrush and I will return. All right, guys. This is kind of what we started with right here. And then this is kind of what we're dealing with here. It's still wet, but I can tell you right now, the way it's laying down, it's flattening out like crazy. The one thing I'll tell you, oh, there's one right there. You are going to be chasing runs. You're going to be chasing a lot of drips. So just be aware of that. This stuff is very loose as far as its consistency, its viscosity, whatever you want to say. It's very, very loose. So just know that there's getting a sag there. I'm trying to get them, trying to get all of them. I'm going over them and dragging them out, and had a few here. It just loves to run down this big. But I'm sure I'm gonna have some. But I am very pleased with this product so far. It remains to be seen how it holds up or whatever. But hopefully I'm not off-roading this thing, or anything like that. And I mean, hell, I don't even drive it in the rain. I just, not because I just don't, it's just not one of those things. So it's really not going to see a lot of wear and tear. So really it'll come down to how good my prep was. And man, I tell you what, I really tried to do exactly as they said. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do then this rail, and then I'm going to do the anti-sway, the sway bar up front. I'm just going to paint around it. And if you're wondering why I left it on, I got no place to put it. I don't know how the hell I would put it and paint it and not. So my thought is I'm just going to come up to the rubber and stop. And then it moves around. So, makes it easy. Paint that, and then I'll do the center section. Then I'm going to go do the underneath. Then I'll start my second coat. So, all right, guys. about 4 hours. A little sick of it. The stuff on top just laid down beautifully. Just super nice. I could not keep up with the runs. These runs just keep coming. I tried light coats. I tried, brushing it out. Nothing worked, man. Nothing. So I'm looking at a drip right now. And I am in Colorado, and it's just dry as a bone here. I've got this wet cardboard under it. I thought that would maybe help. No dice. So I guess I'm just gonna have runs, and I have to just keep in mind, oh God, look at that. It's just running, man. I just have to keep in mind that it's gonna look good when we open the hood. I did not mean to rhyme that time. I'm really happy with the time, taking the time and going over the welds, even the ones that I couldn't grind. They just look a lot better. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. When I get the A-arms on there, it'll look real nice. So anyways, there we go.